Hello, everybody. My name is Charity Counts. I'm the Executive Director of the Association of Midwest Museums. I'm a white woman with fair skin and dark hair. I'm joining you from my home office, which has blue walls, white doors, and a big white chair in the background. I also have a painting hanging on my wall with a woman with her head in her hand. And today I'm wearing my favorite yellow jacket. Thank you for joining us today for the 2021 Groundbreakers Award Virtual Community Celebration, honoring this year's recipient, the Chicago Cultural Alliance. Before we begin our program, I'd like to invite Leslie Wright to offer a land acknowledgement on behalf of AMM.
Good afternoon. In this era of virtual meetings, when digital spaces may substitute for our physical sense of place, it's important to redirect our attention to the land we occupy in this moment and honor the Indigenous people who have called it home. Because I'm located in central Iowa, I invite you to join me. Somebody needs to mute. I invite you to join me in acknowledging the Meskwaki, Sauk, and Iowa communities, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. I wish to recognize the strength and resilience of these and all Indigenous peoples who have endured and who continue to steward the land that I am privileged to call home. They do this in spite of the devastation of the land and their lives as a result of colonialism, the misrepresentation of their cultures and heritage across time, including by museums, and the ongoing struggle to be recognized in contemporary narratives. Please also consider this acknowledgement a commitment from AMM and from me to continue to reach out, to learn, and to know more about Indigenous communities and cultural centers with connections to the Midwest region. I'll now hand the virtual podium back to Charity.
Thank you, Leslie. I have a few housekeeping notes before we begin our program this evening. First, all of you are welcome to have your video on if you choose, but please keep your audio muted until we prompt you to unmute at different points in the program. This event is an opportunity for all of us to celebrate our recipient, but also to learn more about them and their work. Please feel free to comment or ask questions in the chat, and we'll get to those as soon as we can during Q&A later in the program. We encourage you to react today to what you're hearing in a variety of ways. When we have moments for audible applause and cheering, we'll let you know. But in the meantime, you're welcome to use the reaction tool that's found in the menu at the bottom of your Zoom screen, where you can clap and give thumbs up or offer other celebration sort of symbols. You can also snap your fingers and wave your hands, whatever you would like, but just hold those audible applauses until it's time. Finally, we also have an ASL interpreter with us today. They are spotlit for this event, so they should be on steady position on your screen. You may also be able to pin them to the top of your gallery view if you have that view going. We also have enabled live transcription in Zoom. You should be able to control whether or not you see this by clicking the CC button on your menu as well. If you have questions about how to do any of this, please let us know in the chat. For those of you getting to know AMM for the first time today, I'd like to provide a little bit of background on our organization and this program. First, we were founded in 1927. And one of the very first museum associations in the United States. Our focus for the last 94 years has been on connecting individuals and organizations within our profession and supporting their work through capacity building programs and resources. We serve an 8-state region, but our membership extends far beyond the Midwest. And our community includes traditional museums and historic sites, as well as art and cultural centers, science centers, zoos, and libraries. The past 2 years have been challenging, but it's also invited creativity on many levels. The AMM Awards program is no exception. For decades, we've offered an in-person awards program, and as a result of the pandemic, decided to take this program virtually last year in 2022. We piloted this new awards format and have decided to keep virtual community celebrations as an ongoing element of our awards program. It has been a great joy for us to be able to celebrate our recipients, including today's recipient, through a series of virtual celebrations that bring together their peers in the museum community, as well as their local community members, colleagues, staff, family, and friends to celebrate. Thank you all for being here with us today. I'd now like to take a moment to introduce everyone involved in today's program. Please wave when I introduce you, and forgive me if you're out there and involved and I missed your name. There are many people involved today. First, Vanessa Vergara with CCA, Sherry Williams, Kay Rowe, Teresita Aviles, Abby Foss, who has the award on display here, and then the many other staff and core members of CCA who are with us today. Thanks to all of you for being here. I believe we may have another board member of AMM out there today. And if you are joining us at this moment, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. Finally, I'd like to recognize Eli Ball, founder of Midway Spark, a software development company based in St. Louis, and sponsor of our 2021 awards program series. Midway Spark is focused on providing affordable, cutting-edge technology to nonprofit organizations. This includes Prismatic, a cloud-based museum management solution. Eli has been an active member and participant in the Midwest Museums community, and we are grateful that he and the Midway Spark team have provided resources necessary to make this virtual series possible. Please unmute and join me in a round of applause and appreciation for their support, and to welcome Eli to say a few words.
Thank you, Charity. We're very grateful to be able to sponsor AMM and all the work they do, and helping recognize the Chicago Cultural Alliance and the work they are doing, groundbreaking work. I've been exploring the website, and I really have enjoyed reading the Taste from Home, the food stories, and all the great work around that. And if you haven't done that already and gone to the website and checked that out, you definitely should, because it is a joy to both read. And I'm sure in a couple of days when I go to the grocery store, it'll be also a joy to cook some of these meals as well. But thank you for the work and sharing your stories and the multitude of cultures in Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you, Eli. I'd like to now turn the microphone back over to Leslie for the moment we've all been waiting for, which is the awards presentation.
This year, AMM instituted a new award focused on lifting up the steps Midwest museums are taking toward diversity, equity, access, and inclusion. The new Groundbreakers Award recognizes museums or cultural organizations who have pushed past boundaries, broken conventions, addressed uncomfortable truths about their institutions' histories and connections to oppressive systems, and or creatively engaged collaborative partners. As a result, they have been able to effect change in the pursuit of a better, more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable future. Nominees' external or internal projects or initiatives, big or small, have resulted in better support for their staff and volunteers, greater services to their diverse communities, or advancement of social justice work in their communities. For our inaugural Groundbreakers Award, we are proud to recognize the Chicago Cultural Alliance. The Alliance is an active consortium of over 40 Chicago area cultural heritage museums, centers, and historical societies that span 30 neighborhoods and 9 suburbs in the Chicago area, and represent over 30 different cultures from around the world, which is just amazing. CCA's selection to receive this award was in part spurred by numerous nominations submitted by their staff in recognition of core members, including Linda Takchuk from the Ukrainian National Museum, Sherry Williams from the Bronzeville Historical Society, Carlos Bossard, Haitian American Museum of Chicago, Ben Lau and Andrea Stam of the Chinese American Museum of Chicago, Monique Brinkman-Hill, Southside Community Arts Center, Jean Mishima from Chicago Japanese American Historical Society, and Karen Abercrombie from the Swedish American Museum. True to its mission to, quote, connect, promote, and support centers of cultural heritage for a more inclusive Chicago, the CCA has set a standard of cultural advocacy and innovative community-wide projects over the course of the past year. From collaborative projects such as the one that Eli mentioned, Taste from Home, Food Stories for the Culturally Curious, to the Cultural Connections visual podcast, the Alliance has increased awareness of the diversity of the Windy City, while amplifying and advocating for citywide initiatives such as Indigenous Peoples Day. Meanwhile, each of its members has worked tirelessly to create programs and exhibits that together tell a richer, more complete story of Chicago. CCA and its members are true assets to Chicago's cultural community, lifting up underrepresented voices in a major metro area. They are truly worthy recipients of the inaugural Groundbreakers Award. At this time, I invite everybody to unmute and use those Zoom reaction icons to join me in a round of applause in honor of the Chicago Cultural Alliance, its members, the recipients of this year's Groundbreakers Award.
Woo!
I now turn the program over to Vanessa Vergara and CCA for a special presentation.
Thank you, Leslie, for those lovely remarks. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for this celebration. My name is Vanessa Vergara, and I am proud to serve as the board president of the Chicago Cultural Alliance. It is my pleasure to tell you a bit more about who we are and what we do. The Alliance's mission is to connect, promote, and support centers of cultural heritage for a more inclusive and equitable Chicago. We have a vision to have a city where all communities have a voice and cross-cultural dialogue and collaboration are an integral part of Chicago's civic fabric. One of the Alliance's primary goals for developing its mission is to create programming and services that celebrate diversity, preserve history, and honor tradition while amplifying cross-cultural collaboration. Journey Chicago is an annual citywide festival of events hosted by our members, showcasing art, ideas, and performances. World Dumpling Fest is a very popular celebration of the diverse cultures throughout Chicago, with everyone coming together through music, dance, and of course, delicious food. Other programs like our annual Activating Heritage Professional Development Conference help our members to grow and address their most pressing needs. And we also have our Conservation and Collections program, which allows us to provide hands-on technical assistance to preserve and catalog cultural artifacts and archives to help ensure that our members' rich cultural history is preserved. On behalf of the board of directors, we are thrilled to support the members of the Alliance and to be part of this amazing and dynamic community. Together, we demonstrated resilience and determination as we navigated the past year's challenges. And I know the board, staff, and our core and partner members are ready for an exciting year ahead. Among our core values is the belief that we are an active and interconnected community, not just a loose network. And so with that in mind, I am deeply honored to now turn things over to my fellow board colleague and one of our core members to tell you more about the Alliance and its work. Kay Rowe is the executive director of the Korean Cultural Center of Chicago and serves on the board of the Alliance. Here's Kay.
Thank you, Vanessa. Hi, my name is Kay Rowe. I'm the executive director of the Korean Cultural Center of Chicago, which is a co-member of the Alliance. The mission of our Korean Cultural Center of Chicago is to promote and organize Korean cultural, educational, arts, and community building activities. Since its opening in 2010, the Korean Cultural Center has become the leading destination in the Midwest, where all people can participate in programs and events that celebrate Korean culture and heritage through programs that examine the Korean and Korean American experiences. The Korean Cultural Center works with a broad range of communities and collaborators to strongly encourage a cross-cultural understanding that embraces and empowers people to live together peacefully. As 77% of metropolitan Chicago's Korean American community lives in the city's north and northwest suburbs, the center established its location in Wheeling, Illinois, in the heart of the Korean American community. Approximately 80,000 people visit the center annually. Our current programs are visual arts, performing arts, culinary arts, library and literature, and community building programs. Actually, tomorrow we have a special event called K Experience, Squid Game. I'm sure that many of you heard about the Netflix drama, Squid Game. I'm very excited about that. Many people signed up and are still waiting list. The Chicago Cultural Alliance has helped us in searching grants, promoting the Korean culture in mainstream and collaboration work. For example, we worked with the Open Center for Arts to introduce Korean culture in Spanish community. As a board member and as a co-member of the Alliance, it has been very exciting to see all the work we have been able to accomplish over the last year. And I know that as a community, we are always stronger together. Thank you to all of you for coming today to celebrate this achievement with us. Now, I'd like to introduce my fellow co-member, Sherry Williams, Executive Director of the Brownsville Historical Society and a founding member of the Chicago Cultural Alliance. Thank you.
And thank you, Kay, for your wonderful, wonderful introduction. I am Sherry Williams, founder and director of Brownsville Historical Society. And I'm certainly amazed by how becoming a member of the Chicago Cultural Alliance has enriched my own members of the Historical Society's experiences. We have each been able to expand our own deeper understanding of the more than 30 ethnic and cultural organizations of the CCA. Who could imagine that the transformation of cultural connections programs with the Field Museum would evolve into such a phenomenal group of individuals, institutions, and leaders across the entire city, celebrating our cultural shared identities and those things that we do not know at all about each other. These experiences have also enriched my children's lives. So for more than 15 years plus, I've watched them grow and become so involved in finding ways in which other experiences in their personal lives reflect that of the cross-cultural experiences that the CCA has afforded me as a member. I am more than happy to be a part of this amazing experience that we're sharing today. On behalf of all the members of the Chicago Cultural Alliance, it is my pleasure to accept the inaugural Groundbreakers Award from the Association of Midwest Museums. Thank you. And thank you all for being here to celebrate with us.
Let's all unmute one more time for a round of applause and cheer loudly. Thank you, Vanessa, Kay, and Sherry for sharing a little bit more background on CCA and for your kind words. And we're just so excited to get to celebrate this award with you today. And honestly, just to have you in the network is a great privilege. So, what we like to do with these programs is offer an opportunity for folks who are in attendance from your museum community, maybe from the membership or from your local community, your friends, whoever is on, to ask questions, to learn a little bit more about the organization and all of you. So I'm just going to remind everybody that if you have questions or things that you want to inquire about a little bit more from the group, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be welcoming those. Meanwhile, I just kind of wanted to ask a little bit about sort of the origin story with CCA. I'm sure that many of you who are on maybe were among the founding members, but maybe or maybe not. But were there other cities or organizations you looked to sort of, or that inspired this, or did CCA kind of come about out of a need that was unique to Chicago?
We're really lucky because we actually have, I think, 3 of the original people here. So we've got Sherry and Jean, and I believe Jan, and well, Sherston's here too. She doesn't have her camera on, but either of you, if you guys want to jump in and tell us the story, that would be wonderful.
I appoint Jan to speak on behalf of us.
Should have muted my mic earlier. Okay. It goes back a while, and you'll have to indulge me a little bit. I'm over 70, so there's the Bob Hope joke about 3 signs of growing old. One of them is loss of memory, and the other 2 I can't remember. But when we had the various organizations get together under the museum, the Field Museum, we started out slow. There weren't that many members. I think first we started out with the museums that were in existence at that time. The Donk House, there was a Czech museum, the Greek, and unfortunately, a couple of the museums have closed since CCA was founded. I think the Czech Museum went out of existence for some reason. I think they moved all their assets to Dubuque, Iowa. But we all worked together, and actually the original.
Okay, well,
Okay, thank you. One of the things that we did, we started doing exhibits together or joint meetings. So for instance, there was a topic for the year, like naming ceremonies or family traditions, our stages in life. So I remember that there is the Japanese American Society, Historical Society, and us, we talked about, they talked about after World War II, how there were all these Japanese people who had been resettled in the Midwest, and they organized their own baseball leagues, and they would, and basketball leagues, and they would play intramural sports among themselves, and they would also socialize after that. And we talked about the, before soccer moms, actually, I think the title was When Soccer Moms Wore Babushkas, underlining the ethnic underlinings of the soccer through all the European clubs that were in existence at that time. So actually, soccer in the Chicago area goes back to the 20s. You had the Chicago Maroons, I think was a German club. We had the Wisła, which was a Polish club. They were Czech and that. So we tried to get back to the original roots of the communities and their actions. And later on, once we became Chicago Cultural Alliance, one of the things we participated in the area of Humboldt Park, where we had the area originally with a name like Humboldt Park. Obviously, it was in a German neighborhood, so we talked about the German community there. Then the Polish community came in, and now the area is Puerto Rican, and unfortunately, it's also getting gentrified. on that, and we talked about the three communities and how they influenced the actions of Humboldt Park. So I think the important and then we were trying to. Interesting thing is, some large group was trying to get us to point out the flashpoints and those areas where we had conflict, and everybody said, "No, let's not go there. Let's talk about the areas where we cooperate." So even though I understand it was a nice sum of money that they wanted to give us to talk about our differences, we didn't we didn't go that route. So it's been I'm thankful for the friends that I've made here. And also a little bit sad for those people who have departed us. So over 20 years, we've lost a few members, not in the way of just departing, but people have moved on. They've gone into different careers or moved out of the city. So it's important that that CCA does remember its founders and the shoulders of the people that we stand on, and also open up to new members coming in. And there are a couple of areas where we haven't been successful. I don't think we have a Vietnamese representation, and there is a very dynamic Vietnamese community in Chicago. So don't know what the problem is. We recently, I think, also the Assyrians joined us. So we've got that. And of course, I want to shout out to Sherry for getting the new digs. And when are we having a housewarming? You're muted.
Oh, Sherry, you're muted.
Any day you like, Jan. You are welcome here any day you like. Jan is leaving out the fact that we forged some wonderful friendships, and beer might have been involved in many of those friendships forming, but nevertheless, we had food that we shared. And I remember having an event at the Polish Museum, and we had these different meals that came from our communities. And so we had collard greens with pig feet or some ham hocks and things. And this was before people started like saying what was the ingredients. And I know a lot of people shy away from pork, but I swear everyone ate everything. No one was like asking like, what is in there? They just ate it. And so later I had friends say, maybe we should have shared because people have dietary restrictions. I said, looks like they're enjoying themselves. But I love that we had the one event where dance was the centerpiece of what we were doing. And to see the provinces of Poland dance, and then African Americans came in to do praise dance that takes place in Christian worship. And it was just a really fulfilling way for us to showcase what pride we had in our heritage, and reflecting it to say we're all the same. We all like food. We all like dancing. We all enjoy laughter. And I celebrate you, Jan, all the time. You are my dearest.
Thank you.
I would like to say a few things about our beginning with the Chicago Culture Connections. The main premise was common grounds, different responses. Like Jan mentioned, sports. Each of the community used sports, unify their community, but we responded in a different way. We partnered with the Polish Museum many times. There's the art of paper cutting. I know the Polish, they do this beautiful paper cutting decoration for the Christmas tree. And the Japanese also have the art of paper cutting and many others. It was a great, great time of forging, as Sherry said, friendships. I really cherish those memories, and I really cherish working with Jan and Sherry. It was a wonderful time, but it's amazing how it has grown into the Chicago Culture Alliance. It's really very commendable of what the board has been able to do, and the community to get together like this. As Kay said, to make it stronger is to work together.
I am Justin Lane, and I was part of the very beginning, and I happen to have been the first president of CCA. And I have to give my credit to the big museum who started us out. And we had tried many times to get all the small ethnic museums together. And we all seem to have the same problems and the same things, wonderful things going, but nothing worked until we became involved with the cultural connections at the Field Museum. And from there on, we realized that we had to create something that was more stable, and that was all the ethnic museums together. With the problems and the joys that we all had, I was at the time the executive director of the Swedish American Museum. And it is so gratifying to see what has happened to CCA during these years. And I take my hat off to Vanessa and her board and the wonderful staff of Cultural Connections. Thank you.
Thank you. I love hearing these sort of memories and testimonials. It makes me wonder about asking a question for all of you on who are a part of CCA, maybe to share a memory of when, your participation in CCA, the value of that really showed in your work. Maybe it's, a moment where you had to lean on somebody in the consortium, or you partnered with another organization on a project. I'd just love to hear some examples if you want to share. Cairo, so you've raised your hand.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cairo Dai. I'm the manager of programs for the National Hellenic Museum, one of the core members at CCA. And I wanted to just really briefly talk about something that CCA did last year that I think is really special, that I was lucky enough to be a part of. I'm also newer. It's kind of cool hearing all of these stories about the founding. I've only been aware of CCA for like a year and a half when I started my job at the museum. So I'm very new to all of this, but it's been a very privileged experience to get to be a part of it. But when COVID happened, and as we're all very aware, it changed the way we do things in so many ways. One of the projects CCA did really early on was an oral history collections project called Stories of Arts Resilience, and documenting how institutions like ours and other artists were navigating, as we're all tired of hearing, these unprecedented times and all of that. And I was lucky enough to get to be a part of that experience. And I think the work of not only connecting organizations, but also documenting what was happening as it was happening for the future. So much of the work that these institutions that are core members do, but also the way CCA can kind of connect those stories to each other, I think is so valuable. And I just feel very grateful to get to be a part of the work that CCA does. Also, it's good to see Sherry and Ben. We actually just recently did a program for CCA for Journey Chicago. It's good to see you guys. Hello. But I just think it's really special, and I'm very appreciative to get to work with all of you so often.
Thank you, Cairo, for sharing that. Would anybody else like to share a memory, a story of when CCA? Yeah, Jan?
We had visits from the Tenement House Museum in New York. And one of the questions that came up is, since Chicago is a large industrial-based city with large ethnic communities, either the early ones or later ons, how can this experiment be duplicated in other places? And I don't think anybody. I mean, I'm thinking Detroit could probably do something, Baltimore, New York City, but Toronto, if we're looking across the border, but it's never been duplicated. I don't know even if it's even been attempted at other places. And that's something that maybe not to really worry about, but at least to investigate and find out how come.
That's great. Thanks for sharing.
I can share
Yeah.
also. Similar to what Cairo was saying last year at the beginning of the pandemic, the Alliance really pivoted to really leaning into that collaborative family approach. And we started hosting weekly town halls to make sure how everyone was doing, not just like mentally, health, everything, and also like the health of each organization, and figuring out from where to buy hand sanitizer and thermometers. And when at the time, maybe city or national leadership wasn't doing a good job setting standards, the Chicago Cultural Alliance was just sharing what everyone was doing and creating kind of like our own standards and having our own shared resources, from creating signage or just how do we navigate this together. And we had up to like 50 people in a Zoom just talking and sharing resources, sharing emotions, and just really doing what this wonderful group of people does best. And it is leaning on each other and being stronger together, as everyone mentioned during their opening remarks. And it's something that I'm very happy and proud to be a part of.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, Kay.
Yes, sorry, Trista. I should mention about the town hall, but I didn't. Yeah, actually, the town hall helped me a lot, helped us a lot. We shared even grant information, right? And bank information where we can find we can get the PPP loan quickly. And a lot of good information we shared. And also, we talk about each organization, co-member organization, allow us promote our own event. So that really helps us a lot. So thank you, Trista.
Thank you, Kay. Vanessa, I think I saw your hand up too.
Oh, I was just clapping, but no, I mean, my main thing is that this conversation brings me such joy. It really does. The fact that that you've given us this opportunity to come together and share and connect with one another, because each of us are coming kind of at different times in the evolution of the Alliance. So for me, having been at the Alliance for almost 6 years now, it's actually so amazing that I can hear directly from founding members and those who put the blood, sweat, and tears and had the vision to make the Alliance, to see it when maybe others couldn't. And I'm just so grateful that we are able to connect in this way. And I know it's just so weird because it's the pandemic and it's hard to connect, but I kind of actually feel a little more connected than I have in the past, just from having this forum. So I want to thank you for allowing us to share like this.
I'm enjoying it too. I just, for the record, this is delightful. I love it. Sherry, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I started thinking about the emergency response to the fire that devastated the Chinese American Museum, and how CCA members and CCA board and staff all responded at the same time to give whatever helps that they could give to this devastating fire that ruined the Chinese American Museum. And that's just one sample of how CCA has stepped up to the plate, over and beyond just programming, to say, hey, I can roll up my sleeves when things go further than us doing programming or projects or collaborations. And the same happened when we had to move in 2 days, 5 rooms of artifacts and books and documents from the Illinois State site to come to the new location we're at. Immediately, staff put a call out to friends and colleagues to say, if you can be available on certain days, because I had a very short window to move things, we certainly could use your help with moving essentially hundreds and hundreds of boxes to our new location. So I want to salute CCA, that their role has been beyond just programming and collaborations and celebrating heritage and culture. They've been true friends to each of us in dire need.
Thank you, Sherry. You know, listening to all of these reflections is very special, and I appreciate you all and your willingness to share that with us and with others who are on, and for those who watch this recording later. You know, it makes me think about, oh, do we have another hand up out there? Sorry, did I miss somebody? Let's see. Let me just double check. I don't see it up anymore. Maybe. Well, if I missed you, don't hesitate to speak up. I'm just going to offer some thoughts here before we move on. So I wanted to say that it was making me think about something that came up when the committee met to discuss nominations for awards this year. And in the conversation about CCA, the comment was made that they couldn't think of another city in the Midwest that had an organization quite like this, right? This consortium, this alliance, this group. And listening to your stories has really kind of endorsed that statement a bit, because I feel like what's sort of at the heart of what makes this alliance work, from what I'm hearing, and what really sets an example for other metro areas and locations in the region, is the sort of sense of family and collaboration and interdependence that you all have. I think it's a good model for a lot of different groups of organizations across the region. And I just want to thank you for sharing what you've shared today. It looks like maybe it was Randy had a hand up. I'm just not, for some reason, I'm not seeing it in my head. So
thank you. I would just like to add, talking about connections, when the Alliance was just formed and moved out of the Field Museum under the auspices of the Field Museum, you know, we really didn't, as you just said, we really didn't have a lot of models to look at. And I would just add that the Association of Midwest Museums Conference was really important for a lot of us to see what other, you know, what other museums, especially of smaller sizes, were doing. You know, Chicago has long been dominated by the big museums here. So we really needed those models, and those sessions, you know, that I participated in, a number of conferences, were really helpful. So this award from the association really means a lot to all of us at the Alliance.
Thanks so much, Randy. What a kind thing for you to say about AMM. We're happy to have you all, you know, in our region, and to be able to connect with you this way and celebrate CCA. You know, if we don't have any other individuals who are with us today who want to share, which I'll give another moment for that, then I think we might move to some final remarks and another round of applause that we can all cheer and celebrate and share. Any final thoughts before? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all again for being here to celebrate CCA, all of your contributions to the Alliance and participation, and your, you know, just the time and energy you put into making Chicago a better place for everyone through your cultural connections and your work in the community. So I know that we're proud to know you and proud to learn more about you through this event, through this awards program, and hope that others enjoy listening in later when we share the recording. You know, I want to take one more moment here to just invite everybody to unmute one more time, and please cheer and clap loudly in celebration of CCA.
Give ourselves a pat on the back, right?
Yay.
Leslie, is there anything that you would like to say before we close our program today?
I just wanted to add to what Charity was just saying about making Chicago a better place. You're also making the Midwest a better place. And the fact that you're tied in with AMM, and I hope will continue to be involved with the work that we're doing. It's so meaningful. I was looking at the page of all of your members, and it is just impressive how you have brought so many groups together. Creating community through collaboration is something a lot of us think about and talk about, and some of us try to achieve it, but it's so inspiring to see such a powerful example of a place where it's really working. And the stories you shared today just underscore that so much. So on behalf of the board of AMM and from myself personally, congratulations for inspiring all of us. You're doing just great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Teresita, did you want to offer final remarks on behalf of CCA?
I do. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that joined us. I am I'm Teresita Aviles, if you don't know me. I am the Associate Director of the Chicago Cultural Alliance, officially as of last week. And I wanted to thank the Alliance staff, both past and present. And it's been such an honor to work alongside all of you, our members, for all of the programs like Journey Chicago, Activating Heritage, Conservation and Collections, particularly through this unbelievably challenging 2 years now, I would say. And we're just so proud of what all of you have achieved during this time and during just the existence of the Alliance. And we just look towards all of you for advice. That is where the staff also go. It's such a wonderful symbiotic relationship where you guys come to us for advice, but we also see you guys as resources. And we just want to thank all of you, because our work as staff is not possible without the wonderful work that you guys do in your own individual organizations. For those of you that aren't related to the Chicago Cultural Alliance, we're just going to drop a link in the chat. If you are able, we would like you to please consider making a donation to the Alliance as we head into 2022. That way, we are poised to expand this groundbreaking work and to give all of our members the support that they need to keep growing. And just thank you. This has been a wonderful hour celebrating all of us here together.
Thank you, Teresita. Another round of applause. This is amazing. We have exactly 25 people here, which is exactly the number of images you can have on a Zoom screen at once. And I'm wondering if everybody is on, it happens to be a member of CCA, maybe, possibly. And if you are, please stay on. And I'd like to get a snapshot of everybody from CCA and the whole group here today who was part of the program for all of us to have later and share. So thanks again for coming. If you're a guest, we appreciate that you came and celebrated with us. This is the end of the program, and for everybody else, please stay on and turn on your video so I can get a photo. Okay, just give a second here. Do we still have Kim and others? Oh, okay. Give them a moment to clear out here. I don't know if Kirsten is still here.
Kirsten, yeah, she's still there.
Kirsten, do you want to turn on your video? Perfect. Kim, are you still there? And it's LaDonna and Vandita, are they members of CCA? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
If you can hear me and you're able to turn on your video, we'd love to have you in this snapshot if you're open to it. Kim? All right. Well, we may go ahead and do this so I don't keep you all too long. This is the moment in the evening where I get to ask you to stare awkwardly into your webcams for like 3 seconds. I'm going to use a snipping tool here. It has a delay on it. So it's kind of like when we would set up our cameras to count down and get in position, but you're just going to smile for 3 seconds and hold it when I tell you. Okay. All right. Ready, everyone? Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me remove our, there we go. All right. And all right, now smile. Awesome. That's perfect. Lovely. Great to meet you all. And thanks for being here and enjoy the weekend. Congratulations again. And we'll see you more, I hope, in the coming year.
Yeah.